Since it launched in November of 2019, Disney Plus has surpassed 50 million subscribers in only 5 months, making it the main competitor to Netflix within the streaming landscape. However, to maintain that position, it's going to need more original content. So for today, I'm going to give some of my own ideas and suggestions for what I think will be a great source of original programming for Disney Plus. So let's dive into all of that up next. Hi there Waltineers, I'm Jack and this is of course DSNY Newscast, and before we get started, be sure to go ahead and subscribe down below if you're new to this channel, and also it'd be really great if you could follow DSNY Newscast on Twitter and on Instagram. And with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into it. As Disney Plus has undeniably had an extremely strong start within the streaming marketplace, clearing the first hurdle with relative ease by amassing a huge subscriber base. But now the real challenge is all about retention, as despite Disney's massive streaming catalogue, the fact is that audiences still crave new original content to justify their monthly subscription fee. And there is no better example of just how impactful good quality content can be for a service than what was demonstrated by Star Wars: The Mandalorian, as not only did that launch a new series, but also multiple merchandise lines and transcended pop culture, keeping the launch of Disney Plus relevant long after the initial hype had died down. However, when it comes to creating new content for Disney Plus, I feel that Disney is sitting on a goldmine of relatively untapped original concepts, as pretty much all of the original content offerings currently scheduled for Disney Plus fall under 3 categorizations, with the first being reboots like we've seen with Lady and the Tramp and have heard are in development for live-action movies like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Then the second category is spin-off shows like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki, and also the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. And then the last category is expanding upon existing franchise universes, such as The Mandalorian with Star Wars, or later with Marvel's She-Hulk, Moon Knight, and Ms. Marvel. But all of this ignores a huge opportunity, and that is the original concepts within the Disney parks. As if it's executed correctly, Disney could use these concepts as an abstract basis for new content, but most importantly, without any need to change the original attraction or lands, as in my opinion, that's the last thing I would want to see. As there is a scenario where both park concept and also the Disney Plus content could easily coexist without any forced integration, as this could be achieved by simply using the name or the backstory as its starting point, thus building an instant recognition with the audience. Now yes, admittedly this isn't a new idea, as of course we've seen this done to varying levels of success with Pirates of the Caribbean, The Haunted Mansion, Tomorrowland, Jungle Cruise, and let's not forget about the Country Bear Jamboree. But the most important factor here is the execution, as not all of these attraction concepts are designed to be well adapted to a multi-part blockbuster movie franchise formula that Pirates of the Caribbean began in 2003. But instead, so many of these attraction concepts require nuanced storytelling in a more intimate medium that allows for depth and exploration. And this is why Disney Plus is the perfect platform for this type of content. So now let's boot up my alternative Disney Plus service, which I've created to demonstrate some of my Disney Plus show ideas, with the first being Disney's Main Street USA, which I imagine to be an episodic series with the following synopsis. Cities all across the nation are experiencing the spoils of the Gilded Age, whilst the citizens of small-town America struggle to realise the promise of a new century. That is until the conspicuously wealthy business owner, J.K. Rutherford, arrives in Landia, Missouri, and transforms this town's destiny forever. So this would very much be a sort of American iteration of a Downton Abbey style family drama, set in a time that is probably one of the most identifiable periods in US history, for the simple fact that Disney parks around the world have enabled guests to walk the main street of this era and feel the vibe of that turn of the century America. But the series would only be using the name as a jumping off point for a completely different backstory altogether that could easily run for seasons exploring this fictional town without impacting the parks whatsoever. But then the next concept that would also be an episodic series would be Disney's Thunder Mesa, that for those who don't know is named after the fictional town that Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is located within at Disneyland Paris, with alternative names for this series possibly being Rainbow Ridge, that would represent Disneyland's Big Thunder, or Tumbleweed, that represents Walt Disney World's version. However, no matter the name, the show's synopsis would remain the same, as in the midst of the gold rush and the westward expansion, a prosperous mining town befalls a natural disaster that reveals the cursed history of this sacred location and unravels the very fabric of the community. Now personally, I imagine that this show would feature more action-filled drama that would be sort of reminiscent of ABC's Lost or Netflix's Stranger Things, with Thunder Mesa bringing back thematic elements from the American Western, combined with an extremely strong focus on Native American culture as well. And then we move on to a concept based on the Haunted Mansion, as Disney has tried unsuccessfully in the past to create a movie about this iconic attraction. But the reason why it failed, in my opinion, is that the movie made the attraction itself the focus, thinking that the most intriguing element of the entire concept was entering the Haunted Mansion. But all of that ignores what makes the attraction one of the most beloved attractions in Disney park history, and that is the immense depth of detail and richly multi-layered backstory that's waiting to be told about its inhabitants. And so instead of creating a show predictably titled 999 Ghosts, or Happy Haunts that would centre around the ghosts in their current state, I think a much more compelling concept would be for Disney's Foolish Mortals, where in this anthology series, the ghost host presents each foolish mortal's unique and lamentable tale of their untimely demise, before taking residence alongside 999 happy haunts within this infamous mansion. Now this idea has the most promise, as through restructuring the concept from a single movie or an episodic series to instead becoming an anthology series, it poses the potential to become Disney's sort of very own version of The Twilight Zone, where a ghost host sets up the haunting narrative, and then each episode explores a standalone story of the character's life, with a strong message at the heart of the episode, with some being comical, some being surreal, and some being legitimately scary. But at the same time, because the series doesn't have a main character, it means that the iconic attraction can remain untouched, leaving guests always guessing at which ghost within the attraction corresponds to each episode's story. And then next up, we have a concept that builds upon the original attraction to movie strategy. But personally, I think that the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise is now better suited to Disney+, with an original series that I would call Red Between the Tides, with this being the synopsis. The golden age of piracy may be nearing its end, but for Scarlett Red Gibson, her story is only about to begin, as her life between the tides of Isla Tesoro and Tortuga will uncover her mysterious heritage, and along with it, the fate of the Pirates of the Caribbean. So as you can tell, this builds not only from the movie franchise, but would also create a greater understanding of a character that has been recently updated within the ride, meaning that not much would need to be altered within this classic attraction, as this series would embody the same adventurous tone from the movies, but expanding upon the existing storyverse. And then lastly, how could we not mention the Muppets, as this concept would build upon their attraction presence at Walt Disney World, with a show that I call MuppetVisionTV, as throughout the years, the Muppets have hosted variety hours, talk shows, and even taken Manhattan. However, now they will return to a home they've had for the past 3 decades, and take up a permanent residency inside Disney's Hollywood studios. Now what I envision for this type of series would be a similar feel to that of the ABC show The Muppets from 2015, but by positioning them within a Disney park, not only would it allow for cross-promotion for Walt Disney World, which is something that the Muppets have done in the past, but it would also provide an interesting narrative as the Muppets not only work for Disney World as performers, but also fight to save their attraction from being demolished and replaced with something new, which means that the show could afford to be extremely meta for its fans, referencing Jim Henson's last movie, which was Muppet Vision 3D, and even show the Muppets holding talks with Imagineering about the new proposals and potentially trying to halt the construction project. However, I also have just a few ideas for some non-fiction content as well, with the first being a documentary series that I would love to see put into development by National Geographic, titled Our Shared Spaceship Earth, where it would explore our extraordinary history of our shared journey through time and space on board this Spaceship Earth. Traversing each era of discovery, this multi-part docu-series focuses on breakthroughs in communication, medicine, transportation and technology that tell the story of human ingenuity. Now, this would very much be a docu-series in the same class as Neil deGrasse Tyson's Cosmos, but instead, each season would explore a different era of human history, similar to that of its namesake in Spaceship Earth, and it would also provide a great basis for a future update to that attraction, without it differing too far away from its original concept. Then we move on to two concepts for children's animated educational programming, with one being Figment's findings that would be centered around Figment and the Dreamfinder investigating the wonders of the imagination and teaching the reality of science, whereas another series would be Small World After All, where 5 children of the world would set sail on the happiest cruise to learn about the geography and culture around the globe. And then lastly, I have one more idea for Disney Plus content. However, it's not based on the parks, but nevertheless, it's still a concept that I would love to see, and that is Origin Story, a Toy Story story, which would dive deeper and uncover the toy's first story, backstory and origin story in this anthology series by Pixar Animation Studios that explores the toys' lives before they were lovingly inscribed with Andy's name and became part of the family. Now, I feel that there is just so much potential in this type of series, as the standalone episodes could give each character their own time to shine. As yes, we've seen Woody, Buzz and Jesse's story arcs, which could easily also be expanded upon, but also I think it's about time that we find out more about Mr. Potato Head, Ham, Rex, Barbie, Wheezy and Slinky as well, and learn about their story, as well as an opportunity to maybe explore new types of toys within this Toy Story universe. So those are all my ideas for what I would like to see brought to Disney Plus. But if you've enjoyed today's video and you'd like to see a part 2 of this kind of video, then be sure to give this video a like, so therefore I know whether there's interest in turning this into a type of series. But now, it's over to you Waltineers, as I would like to know what are your thoughts and opinions on my ideas for original Disney Plus content, and also what are your ideas for what you would like to see brought to the service. And that could be content based on the Disney parks like I've suggested in this video, or it could be based on something entirely different. It's up to you. And also, don't forget to put the timestamp for where the hidden Mickey appeared somewhere within this video, along with your suggestion or your comment, to be in with a chance to win one of these official DSNY Newscast enamel pins. And congratulations to this Waltineer here for winning this suggestion from a previous video, where we're talking all about Remy's Ratatouille adventure coming to Epcot. And so that's it for today, so be sure to go ahead and subscribe down below if you're new to this channel, hit that notification icon so that you always receive an update whenever I release new videos, and I've been Jack, you've been you, and I'll see you real soon.